Tune in, tone up. Your one-stop shop for guitar tricks, tips, techniques and advice. With me, Gary Shilliday, and my own excellent teacher, Dan Davis. Hi there then, Dan.
How's it going, Gary?
Good, thanks. 2 new episodes, so this is our third now in this kind of little mini-series type thing on, I guess, like improving your pentatonic scales.
Yeah, and it's kind of about expanding your knowledge a little bit, just so it's not unmanageable, doesn't feel like a massive mountain to climb. But hopefully you guys out there are getting a little bit more into your playing and a little bit more out of your playing. I'm hoping the extra note choices and ideas sort of are breeding a little bit of more exploration from yourself.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds really good.
Okay, so let's have a little brief recap on where we've come from. We started looking at the Weekend Warrior.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, the Weekend Warrior. This is the guy who's maybe got together with a few mates. He enjoys playing. And he might there, a couple of times a month, play the odd pub gig. He would consider himself a sort of an amateur, but he's learning the ropes. He's getting there. He can put a decent solo together. He can follow a tab. He can play plenty of songs. But maybe what's lacking in his life or her life is a bit of creativity with the guitar. So we're trying to maybe give you a few more tools that you can use to be creative. We're not talking about the solos that are written down that are amazing solos and you learn them off pat and you're done. We're talking about the times when you are called on to maybe pull a solo out of the bag. Your brain magically empties of all the good stuff that you thought you had learned, and then you just go blank and go, let's play. And end up playing
so everyone has that then.
Oh, we do, yeah. Carl Verheyen, who's an amazing guitar player, he said once that all that time spent woodshedding and getting licks together is like money in the bank. That's how he referred to it. I've always referred to it like a trick bag, like you're filling up this bag full of good guitar knowledge, licks and stuff that you can actually physically use, that when the time comes, then you use it.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Because as Carl Verheyen himself said, even the best players are probably only improvising on a good night, maybe 30% of the time.
Yeah.
Because there's improvisation as in, I don't know what I'm going to play, but I'm going to play something.
Doesn't sound like such a good plan.
Better to fail to prepare. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of that in there. But there's the other side of the coin where improvisation is maybe used to link the licks together that you've already thought of. Maybe things that you, even if you haven't sat at a guitar and played them, maybe you thought in your mind that would work great with that.
Yeah.
And then you try it in rehearsal when it does, so you continue to play that on the stage. I don't really write my solos out, but I'm not physically on paper, but I do find that there are things that work. Extend myself a little bit.
Yeah.
And play a little bit of me rather than maybe the cover that I've been paid to play. Then I will put my own spin on things.
Yeah, okay.
But to be able to put your own spin on things means you need a few tools in the tool bag. So last week we were looking at adding the major second. So that's taking our pentatonic scale from sounding like this. So starting position 1 for the minor pentatonic on the 12, so 12-15, 12-14 on the next 3 strings, then 12-15 on the top 2. A lot of people's solos are going to probably feature that in some way, shape or form. You can add the blues note, so this in the case of E is the B flat, it's the 5th note flattened. So if you went up the E minor scale, the 5th note would be B. You'd have E, F sharp, G, A, B is number 5. Flatten that. Stick it in with all of the others.
Okay.
So on the A string, your scale now goes 12, 13, 14. And on the G string, it goes 12, 14, 15. So this, for some people, is kind of as far as it kind of gets.
Yep.
They might do the little extension of the scale. So in the key of E, that means sort of usually flying the nest at the G string at the 14th fret, then moving up to the 16, 15 and 17 on the top two strings, then culminating in the 19th. We talked about adding the major second, which I sort of alluded to earlier. So this means basically it's 2 frets above the E. So wherever we get an E, which is going to be the 12th fret on the bottom string and the top string, and also the 14th fret on the D, and wherever else we encounter an E, 2 frets higher gives us F sharp. So this is adding the 9th.
Okay.
So what are we going to do with these things, and how can we maybe add a little bit of style and a little bit of swish to our playing? So, as ever, Gary and I are going to jam a little bit over a track.
Yep.
Not for very long, because we don't want you disappearing off and going, they just want to jam.
We do.
Gareth. So, we're going to play just for a little bit, and then we're going to kind of analyse what we did, what we liked, what we didn't like.
Yep.
And then start to think about maybe other things that we could put in the pot to make it more interesting. Do you want to go first, Gary? Or
go on then, why not?
Yeah, break a leg. I don't think anyone's...
Break a string.
Has anyone ever broken a leg while playing guitar? Dave Grohl did, actually, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah. Off the stage or something.
That fell flat.
Ridiculously nice sounding Les Paul there.
It's creamy.
Nice slow bends.
So, what we want to do really with our playing is kind of, in a way, be our...
This is like looking for focuses. I think I was focusing there on my pickups a little bit.
So sort of be your best judge in a way.
Okay.
You know, look at your playing and be honest.
Yeah.
You know, what did I play that was good? What did I play that was not so good?
Yeah.
You know, and try and be as honest as you can about it so that you can put it right. I remember years ago when I was a teenager, I did some recording. I thought something sounded stellar. I listened back and the vibrato absolutely tanked.
Yeah.
And I realised, okay, when I was into this and playing this, I was like, that sounds really cool. You don't always notice at those times that maybe things don't sound
quite as good as you think.
Rockstar-tastic as you think they do.
I think I get that when I edit these episodes. It's quite a good opportunity to listen back.
A magnifying glass for not error as such, but refinement.
Yes.
So be honest with yourself about what you're good at and what you're not so good at. So what were you really chuffed in terms of what you played, or what did you like, what did you not like?
I think there were a couple of bits where I messed around with the rhythm. I thought that made it a little bit more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't always do that very well. I quite liked the different pickup sounds, so I think that was my focus.
Okay.
And I think each time that I got the pickup sound, so I went for a single pickup at the end, but with the volume sort of full on.
Mm.
And it was quite, I think it'd be interesting to listen back to it, because it was quite a bit harsh on the ear maybe, but actually quite a good bit of sustain and a good bit of sound. So I thought that was quite good. I thought each of those pickups sort of position sounded good, the bridge, the nut and everything.
There's something to be said, I guess, for we think back to the 80s and even back to the 50s when things like your Les Paul Juniors were the thing.
Yeah.
You know, had one P90 and nothing else, a volume and a tone if you were lucky. And you went into the 80s and some people even had single pickup guitars and they didn't even put a volume pot on it.
Right.
I mean, that sounds like
crazy.
It's crazy, fairly uncontrollable monster. But the majority had at least a volume pot to worry about, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Now, from the point of view of simplicity, that's fine, but although part of the tonal palette is down to where you play, if you play nearer the neck, it's going to be more mellow. So if I'm on my bridge pickup, if I play nearer the neck, now this is a little tip I picked up from Phil Hilborn. If you're playing, and this might be something that if you're playing over maybe you've got quite a mellow start to a tune.
Mm.
You know that kind of sound a clarinet makes, which is sort of
a bit nasal,
slightly nasal. If you play something and then you literally play about 12 frets higher than where you're playing, so you're plucking over the fingerboard, really. You get that almost clarinet-like sound.
Yeah.
So you can try doing that for sort of mellower tones.
Yeah.
Even just for and it's funny how they adds that timbre to it. If you're playing chords and you want a real jingle jangle, try up near the bridge. Want to make your humbucker guitar sound nearer like a Telecaster? That will do it. But in the greater scheme of things, I think we'd all agree, while that's all very good stuff and we should all be utilising that anyway, that changing your pickups is a really good free way of getting a new tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's where you use it.
Yeah.
If you want definition, probably the bridge pickup is a good place to start. But if you're doing maybe a long line, like maybe a sort of a smooth, bendy line,
you want to be on the neck pickup, yeah?
The neck pickup works pretty well also for sweeping and things like that if you're ever going down that road. Choosing your pickup according to what you're doing can make quite a big difference. If you want that more machine gunny sort of Gary Moore kind of sort of sound that he tended to get with, the alternated picking quite sort of viciously applied to a bridge pickup high gain tone, you're going to get that more out of the bridge. Whereas if you want sort of super fluty sort of sounds, your neck pickup's probably the way to go.
Okay. So
that's one thing you could do, is try changing your pickups. What I mean is actually like physically flick from one to the other while you're playing.
Yes. Yep.
Right. The worst sound in the world, if you're a guitar teacher, is hearing somebody battling through Sweet Child of Mine on a Telecaster bridge pickup.
Yes.
It's wrong, it's bullying, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you have to play it on a single chord guitar, wind the tone back a little bit and have it on the neck pickup, and you'll get a lot closer to Slash's tone. Yeah. Even without the appropriate gear.
Yeah, okay.
So be sensitive to what sounds good if you can. Why?
It's hard at the moment, but yeah, I know what you.
If you're playing in a band, especially, what sounds really good. Yeah. Say you do a lot of legato, maybe you're not the best at picking fast. You might find the neck pickup is a bit more forgiving. Yeah. If I'm honest, if you're sort of at that point in your guitar journey, whereas if you want to catch pinch harmonics, you're better all the time using the bridge. Yeah. You've got that extra shot of top end, which won't go amiss. Yeah. Okay, so cool. Be sensitive to the sounds that you're using. Now, you said something very interesting a few minutes ago. You talked about rhythm. Now, this is super important. Yeah. So, when we talk about rhythm, this is the rhythm we're playing our single notes with. Yeah. So, the rhythm one group of notes does to the next. So, I'm going to play over this completely unrhythmically, just for like a few seconds.
Kind of noodling.
Like noodling, shambles.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds great. Let's face it sounds like I'm not listening to the track.
Yeah, yeah.
But trust me when I say, after being a guitar tutor for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Since about the mid-90s I've been teaching guitar. It's a sound that most guitar tutors, as they get people into improvisation, are very used to hearing.
Right, yes.
Where the brain doesn't connect with the track.
Yeah.
Or the guitar is so loud, that's another one I've had before, that the track is just this fart in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
That no one's really listening to it. No one's really, they're just bimbling away in their own little world. That's not music. That's not listening to what you're doing.
Yeah.
You got to listen to a track. What's the track saying to you? Okay, it sounds a bit hippie, but what's the track saying to you? What's it about?
Yeah, I thought you were creating quite a good story at times in that first solo. Yeah, I must admit.
Thank you. Yeah, and the story is
and listening to the drums and things like that, so you knew where to sit out.
Yeah,
there's quite a lot of experience in that, isn't there?
There's a time to stick on the gas.
Yeah,
and there's a time to back off. It doesn't have to be what the song is really about.
Yeah,
it can just be like, this is how I interpret the song. Now, it's interesting, if you do library music, you get very used to going on their sites, uploading your songs, and they ask you to connect certain words with it.
Yeah.
Like, is it happy? Is it sad?
Yeah.
Is it exciting? Is it adventurous? Is it remind you of a sunny place? Does it sound cold?
Yeah.
Is it aggressive? Is it non-aggressive? Now, you're sort of part way there in a way to telling the story. So if you were writing, if you were writing, say, a song which was going to be an instrumental track used for a motor racing program, you wouldn't write a depressing ballad.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But if you were,
it's got to be adventurous and fast, and
exciting and on the edge, and like really sound like it's pushing the limits of rock and roll. Whereas, if you were writing a song on your album and it was about a friend who passed away,
yeah,
you're not going to write that probably, are you?
no,
Unless
no.
you're Napalm Death,
Yeah,
you're not going to write that. You're probably going to write something a bit meaningful, and even if it's an instrumental, you're kind of feeling every note.
yeah,
There's that thing they say, and we're going to try and apply this to guitar. There's that thing they say on the X Factor, which is, I felt every word you said.
yeah,
Every word you sung. I believed every word you said when you sang that song. And it's true, you can sing something with ultimate conviction, like you're in the story.
yeah.
Or you can sing it like you're just a very good singer and you're blatting out the words.
You know that like Funkadelic song, Maggotbrain?
I think I've heard of it.
There's a solo in that, and I've heard them say that, I've forgotten the name of the guitarist, but just prior to the set, they said, "Oh, by the way, your dad's died," and his dad was ill, and he just played this really meaningful solo. And then halfway through, someone leaned in and said, "He hasn't really," or something like that. And then he got a bit angry, but it all came out in the solo. It's quite a good solo. It's got
There's lots of really great stories. I remember reading an interview with Reeves Gabriel. Is that his name? He used to play for Dave Bowie.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he used to say, Bowie used to sort of kind of put him in a bit of a box, as he used to call it.
Yeah.
He goes, Bowie would go like, just imagine you've only got your D and your A strings and everything else is broken. They'll play the best solo ever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
Sorry, that was my Dave Bowie impression.
That's good.
The record on. so, and that boxing in sort of almost made him frustrated because he couldn't use everything, but meant that he had to kind of come up with something. It's kind of a funny kind of a logic, but I think it's an interesting thing and makes you perform better if you can have these things going on. There is a story attached to it. You're telling the story. You may not be the best vocalist, so you're telling it through the guitar. I had a conversation once with a female vocalist and we were talking about this. And it's funny, she said, when I'm really going for it, I imagine like a disaster scenario.
Right.
Like I'm in a disaster scenario. I'm sort of screaming to get out. I'm, telling everybody to get a move on. And
well, I guess you can do the same on the guitar, can't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Now, I know that sounds a bit esoteric, or is that the word?
Yeah, esoteric, yeah.
Esoteric, he's a teacher. Teach. So, let's think about this guitar-wise. I know there's been less about the note choices and things this time.
Yeah.
But it's about getting you to think about what you're playing over. Be sympathetic to what you're playing over.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't play some wild and nutty stuff, but pick your moment.
Yeah.
So let's try this track again.
Yeah, okay.
But this time, do you want me to start or do you want to start?
Yeah, go on, I'll start again then. Why not?
He's a brave one.
Sweet.
Damn right, I got the blues.
We got the blues.
So let's
Excellent.
maybe have a little break it down
Yeah.
about what was going on there.
Because we haven't really talked techniques, have we? We've talked sort of about driving a story, which is
It's
great.
lots of hippie thing.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So it leaves us something for next time, is all I'm thinking as well. So that's good, doesn't it? Yeah.
That's right. I try and cover sometimes with people if I feel their poor little brain will take it. Sort of things that not everybody else talks about.
Yes.
You know, at the end, what's the point of music if it doesn't drive some kind of emotion?
Right. Yeah. For sure.
You know, there is music. You know, music out there can take you to a time in your life.
Yep.
It can take you to an event in your life, even. It can take you back to an entirely different era.
Mm.
Different sounds evoke different vibes.
That's what motivates you to learn music, isn't it, really?
That's right.
So why avoid it?
Exactly. As much as there is some fantastic stuff to learn, and as we were saying earlier, there's a cavalcade of things to learn, and you never stop learning. But the main driver, if you talk to any musician, the main driver is we just love to play. We've got something to say, and we wish to say it.
Yeah.
We may not wish to say it in terms of putting political views in our songs or anything like that, but we've got something to say, and we express ourselves through our music and through our playing.
Yeah.
There's something inside that must come out because it's not right for it to be locked away. Now, I know this sounds really, really hippie, but if you even apply it a little bit from the point of view of simply being sympathetic to what you're playing over, because that helps tell the story.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm glad that we did the first bit and then you reminded me of that. It'd be interesting to hear back and hear the difference in my own playing. I mean, your playing is very expressive and very musical all the time.
I try. I do try to be as best I can.
I think our listeners would agree. It's got a lot of character and a lot of dynamics and all those kinds of things. So there's a lot to learn from listening to it, I think.
As I say, like if you were reading a book, think of a song or even a solo like a book. What's the book got? Usually it's got a captivating beginning. There's some exciting stuff goes on in the middle. There's setting up the story at the beginning. And then there's finishing the story off, leaving you wanting more.
Yes.
Now, in solo terms, whether that's starting off with a bit of the melody because that sets you up for the solo and you're used to hearing that in the song, and then going off on a few more interesting licks, maybe some rhythmic kind of licks.
Yeah.
And then sort of finishing with, maybe a high note or some kind of run or something that's a little bit interesting to keep you thinking, oh, that's a cool bit of guitar. I want to hear that again. Yeah. It still has to hang together, kind of like a good story. Now,
that's where I was focusing on my second one. I wasn't doing it that well, but I wanted to kind of get motifs in there a little bit.
I think some of what, if I could help you, and hopefully this will in turn help our listeners, you've only got to go onto, websites that sell gear, shops and things. Anderton's, we've got GAC down here in Brighton. And I mean, there's so much gear. There's so much gear. And it's very easy to think our playing is lacking because I haven't got a certain piece of kit.
Yeah.
Now, okay, a nice guitar sounds better than a cheaper guitar if it's set up properly and played by somebody who's half decent. If you've got a nicer amp, it sounds usually nicer than a cheap amp.
Yeah.
So, okay, those things are very true.
They make a difference.
They do. But
they're not the be-all and end-all,
They're not. The biggest difference you can make is with the player, which is yourself. Simple things like setting yourself up with the sound and riding the volume knob. Listen to this backing track, although it's probably put together on a computer. At the end of the day, there's bits where it gets louder and bits where it gets quieter. You want to reflect that in your guitar. A guitar like this, a Les Paul, they have a habit, if you leave the volume on 10, of being a bit of a runaway train.
Yeah.
And, a Les Paul loves being on 10.
Yeah.
It's where it sounds fattest, thickest, like a sledgehammer coming along to.
But then there's no dynamics, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it has its high points for that factor. But by dropping the volume back a little bit, reducing the levels of gain, so the handling noise is quieter. If I was trying to play a melody, especially, I'm going to go to the neck pickup, right? If I was trying to play a nice, beautiful melody, and the song's not going for it, you hear my guitar's already making a racket. Every time I stop, I'm getting all this noise.
Yeah.
If I just wind my volume back to sort of 6.5, 7.
Much cleaner.
Very little finger noise. Maybe it needs to be even lower. Maybe the tracks really drop down. Lower still. And that's the time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to dig in with the pick. So I'm going to use my pick and how hard I hit a string to carve out the sound I want. So the harder I hit it, the more gain will come out of the guitar. And the softer I hit it, the cleaner it will be. Learn from this, folks.
Yeah.
This is really, really important to get subtlety into your playing.
Yeah.
Big
lesson here, yeah.
Remember, a volume control isn't a switch.
Yeah.
It's not like nothing and then everything.
Yeah.
It's got all these little nuances in between, and every little notch of the switch, said himself now, every little notch of the volume pot will bring a slightly different sound into play. whether it makes the guitar brighter, thicker, whatever. So I'm going to play now if I play really soft, just going to get that volume pot down. I'm on 3. Sounds almost clean. Very clean.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to dig in a bit. I don't know if you could hear that. You can hear it in the room.
Yeah.
It thickens up a little bit. There's a little bit more gain. I'm not really digging.
Nothing on the volume, yeah.
You can disguise how much gain is there by winding it back and leaving there enough headroom for you to dig in, thus making it a bit louder.
Okay.
You know, but at
that's
the same
a cool bit of advice, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, you might want to ride your volume, say for regular playing, maybe around 7. You get a little less finger noise, but still plenty of gain there. And then you've got a little bit of room to move. If the song starts going somewhere, you really want that sustainer kick in. So have it on 10.
Yeah.
So this week, folks, for the next couple of weeks till the next podcast, or whenever that may be, which will be shortly, what I want you guys out there to do, set yourself up an amp sound. Now, I'm not scared of gain. You can hear I've got a fair amount there. I was brought up on Gary Moore and Yngwie Malmsteen, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I'm not a blues player going, just turn the gain down, Sonny Jim. So, I don't mind having plenty of hair on the note. But remember, there's all these increments between 0 and 10.
Yeah.
From completely off to full on with the pedal on the, sort of flat against the metal. And every other increment. If you're trying to play something delicate, and I've seen people do this, they've got the guitar on 10, it's got so much handling noise, and there's so much, and it just sounds crap. You've got to get the guitar under control.
Yeah.
And that also will help your expressiveness, because you'll be able to play it without any feedback and without any nasty handling noise and that, and just sort of play it like you want to play it.
Cool, yeah.
And then when there's the time to open the taps, open the taps. Have that light and shade in your playing. Try different things at different volume levels. Set yourself up for a sound. How many sounds can you get from that? Try changing pickups. And as I said, although it takes a little bit of imagination and you might feel a bit stupid, try and imagine the story that you're telling.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
You can even relate it to something in your life that's happened.
Yeah.
It could be anything from a moment of triumph. It could be a new relationship, a relationship gone bad, a disaster scenario like we were talking about. It could be anything, but actually relating something in your playing, it almost helps you
connect.
So you connect with what you're playing, you connect with the backing, and you connect with what's going on the guitar. Even with a few notes, you can do that. You don't need zillions of notes. You don't need zillions of scales. But that exercise you can apply whether you know just the minor pentatonic or whether you know the whole damn lot. Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Dan. That's amazing. Try it, man. I hope everyone else will be trying it as well. But don't call me a hippie for nothing. Try it, man. It's great. No, excellent. Look forward to next time, and we'll carry on from where we left off. Cool. And next time there will be more notage. Excellent. Thanks so much. See you next time. That's all. Stay tuned for more episodes, jams, improvisation ideas and well-informed thoughts about amps, pedals and guitar tone. If you enjoy this podcast, leave us a review on iTunes, find us on SoundCloud or see our website on tunein-toneup.com. Here you'll find show notes, tabs and further research and resources. It's also a good place to get in touch.
We hope you're finding these lessons as interesting and as useful as I do, and if you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear them.